everyone, it's Lisa and Linda.
Hello.
Isn't it awesome? Did I surprise you?
Yeah. Surprise.
Linda is here teaching tomorrow and Saturday.
Yep. All day, 2-day workshop, all things long arm quilting, machine quilting, actually, all things
All
quilting.
right. So, I'm going to
long
show
arm.
you some things that I didn't really plan on showing you, but we just at the last minute decided, hey, you're going to get some sneak peeks here.
New quilt.
Yes. And we're going to tell you even all the things. All right. So you're here tomorrow for that. I got to do the announcements first.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So it's getting to be the
Lots
end of the
of
year.
announcings.
So there's not that many left, right? All right. So that's done already. That's done already. Hey, these are all old. These are all old. All right. Oh, that's old too. All right. November 25th, we have Stitchers Gathering. And that is right before.
They should have a current listing on it. I just didn't bump the little arrow.
Oh, you want me to say what the next one was?
Yeah. I just didn't move your arrows. I was so
See, I'm not all good. I think those
Kleenex.
I went to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra last night. I think all those lights and flames and stuff has affected what I can see. All right, back up. Let's do this again. Featherweight Club is December 2nd.
Oh, I see it now where the dates are.
Yeah.
I see it.
And Bernina Social on that same day as well. And all of the clubs that I'm talking about here today include lunch. It is from 9 to 4, and they are $25. So reserve your spot, do all the things, contact the gathering if you want to join any of these. November 26th is Sit and Stitch. December 4th is Cross Stitch Club. December 4th is also Wool Club. November 25th, Stitchers Gathering. And just a reminder that Erica is offering to bake rolls, homemade rolls for your Thanksgiving dinner. If you're local and can pick them up, you will call the gathering, and they are $8 a dozen. And then we had a very successful turkey trot the other day. It was super fun. Sorry you missed it, but maybe you'll see them again. All right, then we have a educational Bernina event that is November 18th. That's coming up, right? Yeah. From 10 to 4. And that is using my favorite 9-patch method and getting used to the straight stitch machine that Bernina has just come out with. And then the most important thing coming up in this whole book right now is our Primitive Christmas event here. And this is next Thursday through Sunday online or through Saturday in the store. So come, we will bake cookies for you. We will have cider. We have a cute little coffee truck coming. I invited them. I was at an event and they were there vending. And I said, hey, will you come to my event and feed my customers coffee? And they said, sure. I thought it's Little Birdies, I think is what it's called. And they will be here with hot chocolate and coffee and tea and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be super fun. Come and support another little business at this time. And then we'll talk a little bit more about Primitive Christmas in a minute here because I'm going to tease you. So you make sure you put it in your calendar so you don't miss out on some of the things. During the Primitive Christmas on Friday, we are going to have scissor sharpening. So you can get any or all of your scissors sharpened at $8 a pair. And then we have the Quilted Coat class, May 5th and 6th, July 11th and 12th, and August 4th and 5th. So there are some plannings for 25 there. All right. So if you have any questions more about that, you can always call Bernina. And then the Blue and White Quilt Show is closed up. We have all the quilts right now, and we can't wait to put them up for you. That is going to go up on Tuesday. I can't wait to do that. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Blue and white. It's going to look very wintry. So maybe we'll get some snow. What do you think about that?
We're supposed to. There's a storm coming in.
Ooh, okay. I love snow.
Oh,
I love
okay.
snow. Heidi and I are going skiing way more times this year.
Yes, at least once a week.
Yes.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Downhill or cross country?
At night.
Whatever.
Okay.
Sometimes it's both.
All right.
Yeah, if we get a lot of snow.
Sometimes my cross country is downhill. Actually.
Yeah,
So.
we wanted to kind of try cross country last year, but with no snow.
We didn't have any snow last year.
It was lovely for me because I walked my dog. I put more miles on last winter than I ever have.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Okay. I don't know. They're whispering something.
Yeah,
They're
is there-
talking about us.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like-
yeah, we're totally whispering.
All right. So what?
Probably me.
Did it release yet? Is Scandinavian 8 out? So Scandinavian 8
So
is out
pretty.
there
Oh
in the
my
world.
gosh, so pretty.
It's on the machine getting quilted
Yeah.
right now. Otherwise, I would have probably given you a peek of that. But if you follow me on Stitch with Lisa Bongean on
think
Facebook,
Yeah, I saw. a
you
picture
might have
of it.
saw
Yeah, it was
my finished
beautiful.
quilt on my big floor
Mhm.
in my entertaining
Yeah,
room.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's super fun.
It's big and beautiful.
All right, so I didn't want to forget
Mhm.
that, so I'm putting that in there. Okay, so should we?
What the admission charge is for that quilt for our quilt show? Did
Oh,
talk about
we
that?
do have a admission of $5, and that supports our charity. And we're going to talk all about this coming up for sure on Thursday, and I think Jess might pop and do something on Wednesday night. So I think she might have something planned for some of you to participate early. So you heard that here. If you will
Yeah.
check in, you might get some little perks from
Yeah.
hanging out with us. Okay. All right. So just know that that's it. So, and I'm going to talk about some of the cool new things that we are going to have coming up for that primitive Christmas. All right. I don't think I have anything else. Do you want to talk about some of your stuff first?
Yeah. So
Let's talk about what we're going to give away today.
Oh, awesome! We're giving away our ornament. This is from the Quilted Pineapple. Scott designs it.
It's a yearly
Yep.
ornament.
It's the friendship star. So quilty perfect, right? We all
Right.
have a friend. It is gorgeous. And I offered it here last year. We did a
Yep.
live
Yeah.
with the ornament. We're giving 2 away, but it is available to order on my website. It's a pre-sale right now. It actually launches next week. So you can get it for $16 on my website, thequiltedpineapple.com. After Monday, it goes up to $18. And
Good.
it still has free shipping, and it comes beautifully packaged in its own little custom box.
So great for wrapping quickly and giving away.
Yep.
Because
Great for
you might
wrapping.
need some of these because you know how wonderful quilters are. Somebody will show up and be like, "Oh, I made this for you," and you'll be like, "Hang on a minute, I have yours right here," and you go get your extra ornament that
Such
you
a
bought.
good gift. It's our
That's never happened to me.
Yeah, it's our 7th annual. Scott and I said it's 7 years. So each year is different. We always come up with it before Scott starts bugging me, I think in the summer, and says, "What's our ornament going to be?"
He keeps you
he wants
on
to-
track.
Yeah, he does. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he does. So he's been working on them. They were available if you go on the website, it's pre-sale, but I sent out an email. So they were, but I think
So you
it's
got
been
till what day to order it on
till
pre-sale?
Monday
Okay.
now, through Monday,
All
and
right.
then it goes up. I mean, you can still get them after Monday.
And remember,
but,
when you support small businesses, they know it, they feel it. When you
oh yeah, we do, and we're the smallest business. When somebody says the shipping department or something like that sends an email, I'm like, "You're talking to it." It's like you got it. Actually, Scott ships.
Yeah.
I do send. Thank you. Like with our ruler orders, I try to if I missed anybody, but I always send a personal thank you. So I see all the orders, but Scott is a much better packaging person than I am. You can always tell when it comes from me.
Well, we're creative. We're not.
Yeah.
That's not our department.
Yeah, it's definitely not my department.
Did you bring any to sell with you?
I did bring them to sell. So we have them in class tomorrow too. Scott will have them to sell. I don't sell anything, but I just worry about teaching and having a good time. Scott does all that stuff for me. So he takes time off. Somebody just asked me if he was retired. And I was like,
Not yet.
Not yet. Not from his day job, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then he'll really put in the work after that. But we do have them in class and then available to ship. We'll ship them internationally, but the shipping is not free, unfortunately.
No,
It's not free for us either, actually. But it's
we are
shipping,
just
we are
like
charging.
doing business owner aches and pains here
We were
discussion
talking
before.
about our shipping,
Yeah, we were talking about how shipping,
packaging, all of our
it's like a money sucks
yes.
all of our,
extra
money.
anything. We were brainstorming about where we can save a couple pennies here and there, but
and it just gets harder and harder every day.
Yeah, it does.
But hopefully, We'll
we'll
figure it
see.
out.
We're still here. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's
We're not
beautiful.
complaining.
I
We'll
love it.
just-
I think it's my favorite one.
It is. It's
Don't we?
beautiful.
It's every
I
year.
love
I
it.
always say it's my favorite one. So if you guys have seen it before, I say that every year. But honestly, this might be my favorite one. It's been fun. I've had a lot of quilters order them because Friendship Star and your quilt groups.
So
and whatnot.
if you are new here, and I know some of you are, Linda is our, she's here to teach custom long arming, and she's amazing at it. And so she's sharing her ornament, and Scott makes those because Scott makes all her tools for her too. And she's got a bunch of her tools here.
Yep. I do.
So, like, do you want to just kind of tell us a little bit about what they're going to do tomorrow and
Sure.
Saturday?
So class is it's 2 days. It's an awesome 2 days. It's a packed 2 days. At the end of the first day, I do a little trunk show. It's all my quilts.
It's the best trunk show ever, especially if you're not you're like you feel very insecure about if you can do this, because you see Linda's first work and you see
very
where she
first
started
quilts.
from. You're like, I can do that.
Yes.
You know, or maybe
So-
I could probably do a little bit better than that.
I don't know
So
how I had the wherewithal to save
that
the
was so
first-
genius though.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
that's
we're talking
what-
about, she's like, you had all these, I would just take little things that I made and then I would quilt and practice on them and just save them. And
right, because when you realize that this just doesn't happen automatically and immediately, right?
yeah,
You have to work at it, and then you see her progression in this trunk show, and it's just so
we
So-
talk about that. Like when
so
you start
impactful.
quilting for my new quilters, and we all start somewhere, and I always tell new quilters, practice, but be prepared to really stink, kind of suck at the beginning,
prepared
and
to
be
suck.
okay with it. Be prepared to suck at the beginning, and be okay with it. But stick with it. I think that's the biggest thing, that quilters buy their machines and they invest in it, and then they get kind of discouraged. They work on it for maybe a little bit, and then kind of leave it, walk away from it, and don't go back to it. But just really just stick with it. You might take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back, and then come back, and something might click, and just stick with it, and it'll.
You got to really
start
want to.
Yeah,
Just like
you do.
Yep.
Invest it. Best time drawing your designs, like kind of just drawing, even if it stinks. I'm a much better quilter than I can draw anything, but it really helps your muscle memory, your brain. You know, think of the movements and things.
do any of your other, I just saw this comment, does any of your other ornaments available from past years? Are they gone? They're gone.
They're limited. So when they're gone, they're gone. Now I said to Scott, I said maybe like the 10-year, every year I said at the 5, and he was like, no goes. At the 10-year, maybe we would offer all the past ones. So keep your eye out for that. I don't say that's, he's probably stabbing me right now in the gathering if he's watching this, but because they do take time. We were just talking to Lisa. It's kind of become a tradition, is what we do it for, more so than anything. At this point. And so they are a little bit tedious, time consuming. All these things we cut and we do those ourselves. We have a little part.
You sit
We
there
have
at
a little.
night, right? When it's
Yes,
supposed
Scott
to
and
be
I
date
sit
night,
there
and you're doing that, right?
together, and we, I have a little paper clip that I've stretched out that I call it my little shank, and I put the ribbon. I have to cut them all, and Scott cleans them up and looks at them all and everything to make sure they're perfect. He has an eagle eye. So nothing goes out that isn't perfect, trust me. So I'm always like, that looks fine to me. But
all right, so some of these
okay.
viewers don't know you. All right, so like, I see like a bunch of questions like, does Linda do Zoom classes? What's her favorite ruler? If I can buy one, which one should I start with? All those kinds
So these
of
are
things.
all good questions.
Yeah.
So I don't do Zoom classes. I have an online DVD or workshop that you can order, and then you have it available. It can stream to you, which is awesome. That is, when I had a DVD, it was like a 3-part DVD, but we just sell it as an online streaming. And the Zoom classes might happen. It just that I'm a one person show, and I actually quilt. I work and quilt. I don't just teach my classes. So I always say that I'm a working girl. Still, I quilt. Sorry, Kaylee, I was just touching. Sorry about that. I work still, so I quilt for customers and everything. So any free time that I have, that would be, that would take a lot. So,
Yeah.
but where I was going with that is Scott is retiring here. Hopefully he is in 2 years, less than 2 years. He has it down to the hour that he's retiring, but we're hoping we can do more. I want to do more things like that. I've been trying to put more videos. If you follow me on social media, I've been trying to do more videos. And if you guys saw my setup, it is so awful. Scott was just saying, why aren't you wearing your big headphones? Because they're so much more comfortable than my earbuds. And I was like, that's my counterweight on when I'm recording, because I have my camera like hanging, my phone over here, and I have my headphones hanging on a yardstick. Literally, it's my counterweight. So that's why I haven't been using it. He's like, really? So anyways, so I'll be doing that. What was the other? So Zoom classes, rulers.
Yep.
So what I recommend, if you go on my website, I just have a hodgepodge that's here, but the original 6 is where I started with my rulers, and that's the set that I recommend because I use it probably for 90% of the quilts that I do. I still use my other ones, but that's just the go-to. And if you were going to purchase something, it's like the greatest investment ever. A lot of times I have quilters and they will be in my class, or they'll send me a message, or they'll comment on social media that was their best investment, that they use them all the time. They don't use anything else, but I'm not saying that they said that. But the original 6 is what I go to, and then a good straight edge ruler, if you were going to do that, because it's good to have a good, like a straight edge ruler. And then what makes the rulers mine special, these are the bigger ones. So this is one of my big curves. So this is a large. The outer curve and the inner curve are the exact same. So they're interchangeable. So when you're working on your quilt, you can use the inside and the outside. And where that becomes important is when you're working on the bottom or the sides of your quilt, especially if you're working down the right side of your quilt. It's very hard to hold your ruler, and let's say like a design that's on the ruler or on the quilt behind me. When you're getting these curves like this, especially on this side, it's very hard to quilt. And sorry, you guys get to see my backside here. It's very hard to hold and run your machine like this. This is very awkward. It's very easy if you just can move that inner side, that inner curve like that, and then run your machine. You're not coming across your body to do that. And that's really important down the right side of your quilt. And when you get to the bottom of the quilt, it's the same thing. Utilizing the outside of the curve becomes much more difficult. There's a million ways you can come off of that curve with your machine, or if you're doing on your domestic machine, it's so much easier if you can use that inside curve. So that what makes it a little bit different. Also, they're 1/4 inch acrylic. We actually audition different acrylics. There's many different kinds how they make them. And so we went with one that was a little pricier, but very strong. I mean, it really takes a lot to damage these. I've hit my machine on it so several times, and they take a lick. And if Scott's always like, if somebody breaks one or if it gets damaged in shipping, he was like, I don't know what happened to that ruler, what they did to it, but so there's that, and they're like this light. We have them in green and then clear, so you can see them really well. The markings are 1/4 inch markings on the straight. We actually have the 1/4 inch going both ways, as well as on our straight rulers, the 90 and the 45s go across your ruler. So for cross hatching, it's awesome, because then you never lose those. If you've ever cross-hatched as you're going across your ruler, you kind of lose your ruler, you lose the lines. And this way you always have a line that you can line up with, which makes it super convenient and easy. I'm all about ease because, like I said, I work. I have deadlines. When Lisa sends me a quilt, I have to get them back to her. So I have to do things as efficiently as possible. So we have them on our site. Everything over, like usually all the bundles and the sets have free shipping. If you spend over $85, it's free shipping, but they're all available individually. I do recommend the sets. You get the most bang for your buck. We try to offer a savings in there if you purchase a little bit more. And like I said, they're made in the USA. Everything is. So that's nice. You know, but Yeah, Scott does that in his spare time at night. It's making well for him. He actually makes rulers for some other quilters, and I wanted to talk about this quilt behind us, about the inner. And can we talk about this quilt?
Yeah,
'Cause Lisa,
it's perfect time.
Lisa's going to talk about, but I'll talk about the quilting first, and then we'll talk about
What
the
it
quilt.
is. Some of you
what
know
this
what
new
it is,
quilt.
I think, but
If any of you, if you do know me and you follow on Instagram, I've been sharing another quilt. But meanwhile, usually when I'm sharing a quilt, I've already quilted it. It's gone back to Lisa, and then I share it, and then I'm usually working on something else. And after that, but so it's awesome. How many pennies did we decide? I lost track. But it was
126 blocks.
with 5 pennies each.
Yeah.
So
So
y'all
5 times
y'all do the
126.
math on that. How many times we went around? So Lisa was like, I love what you did around the penny blocks. So I used the number 8. This comes in the original 6 set that I was talking about, the curve rulers. I told Lisa, so let's say I was quilting these two. This is my quilt space. I always, and I talk about this in my class, is even though I can quilt a greater amount of space than that, I usually pick about 12 inches or so to be able to quilt. I can quilt more than that. It's just because I have the most control and I feel like I can be really steady. It's worth it to me to have a smaller space. I know you can buy machines with 20 inches and 24 inches. I never utilize that whole space just because the further I get away from the center of my body, the more wibbly, wobbles and wiggles I can get. So I feel like I look like a better quilter. So let's say I'm quilting these 2 spots. So I might start down here and I'm going to stitch up to here, use the inside, because see, this would be awkward to hold my machine and try to like get around with my machine. So I'm going to use the inside of my curve, stitch over to here, again, use the inside, because this would be awful to try to, you'd be trying to hold your machine and hold your ruler. So I'm going to use the inside. When I
bet
get
you
here,
they just learned something.
so I stitched down to here, and I might, hit some of the pennies on the outside, and I'll just leave my ruler here and I'll just kind of go around it. And then I stitched down to here, and I told Lisa, I left my machine, my needle down, held my ruler there, and I stitched back up over that line, moved my ruler over, and then stitched around. I stitched up here, stitched around my pennies till I got back down, stitched over here, grabbed my ruler, went down, and then flipped her over, went like this, went all the way across, then stitched this, came back over here, flipped it around, and went and finished this side, and did it all in one start and stop.
Amazing, right?
So
just to see how that works for somebody who doesn't do that.
So, and this thread
awesome.
is monofilament. So I do have that on my site. I used Aurifil on this. This is new. I've been testing out Aurifil for a while because the one that I was using that I love, that I still have a couple spools of, but it's become increasingly hard to get, was YLI. Whisper Touch monofilament has become increasingly hard. So I reached out to Aurifil and was able to try theirs out and like it. It's very durable. It's not shiny, right? It doesn't look shiny.
It's got a little bit, but
a little bit,
right.
But not too much different than,
right.
Not to detract from it. It doesn't look shiny
sure.
on there. So I did use monofilament on there because I told her there was quite a variation in fabrics, and I was going to be weaving in and out, and if I missed some backtracking or somewhere by any chance, this wouldn't show. So I did use the monofilament there, and then this is just a whimsical little curling C to get around there. And then out here,
that's where she showed off.
Yeah, I thought, well, I have some space to show off. And
I love putting big borders on my clothes.
Yeah,
so.
She does. So, and I love that. So when she sent it to me, I was like, at first when I looked at it, I was like, she's like, can I send this, or do you want this? And I was like, yep, send it. I was like, I can do something cool in the border. So nothing too outrageously fancy, but something that I could quilt out easily. So I used 2 different size of rulers here. I used what I have in my set. If you look on my site, I have something called the mid curve. So I had this really big rulers here, and they're called big curves. And these are for like, if you have like a giant block, or you need a really soft curve, not quite too comparatively, you can see the curves.
Much tighter curve, yeah.
Yep. So I had a set, I had the original 6 and then I had the big curves. Well, I kind of needed something in between, and those are our mid curves. And that's where this 24 came in super handy. I wanted a soft curve, but still had a curve. And my 20 was a little too much curve going up to the 30. So this is the 24 here I used on this entire part. And then the number 12 from the original 6. So the number 8 and the number 12 are for your feather spines. And this spine is actually continual. It worked continual on the top and bottom, but here I would just stitch what I could, continue it on. And then I can start and stop out here and hide it. My start and stop in the feather spine here. And Lisa doesn't know where I start. Yeah, stops and start. And
so Linda just brought this quilt with her. So you can kind of tell we don't have a binding on yet, but you can see right where that binding is going to go. So she always tries to give me,
I try to give her
a little
good
space there so I don't.
So with flannel, I'll usually from the edge of the quilt, I'll probably leave about a 1/2 inch or so, just because she can cut off, can trim off the excess. Usually Lisa leaves me a little bit extra. I might get a salvage or something like that. So I know that I leave her some space. I mark my quilts as I go. Normally I use chalk. On this one, I just use the purple pen because it showed up the easiest. It's a Dritz air erasable. I have that on my site as well. I like that one the best. It's my favorite. I tried another one. I think Clover. I tried and it just didn't last as well. So, you know, like everything, pens have gone up in price. And if I use a couple of pens on a quilt, you know, that's, so, I usually leave about a 1/2 inch. I do use some markings on here. So I'm going to lay my bigger ruler so I can line up. So my centers kind of line up with Lisa's centers. I'll put a line, you know, I'll draw a line here. I'll draw a line here and make some markings. Just so I know.
Curve then.
Yep. So I can position my curve, make sure everything stays pretty balanced in it. So, you know, like the angles come out pretty, you know, they might not be perfect, but that's why I like the longer ruler, straight ruler, because I can mark with the blocks, make sure we stay nice and straight across the quilt, because as you're quilting, like I said, you're only seeing a small part of it at a time. So it helps keep me on track too. If you notice, the curved design goes with every 4 blocks. So that's how I did that. I'd like to make easy math for myself.
Yeah, using the quilt's measurements.
Yes, and Lisa knows that. I try to use her fabric a lot of time. I might use a print for inspiration. So I'm using her quilt blocks to figure out my measurements for and same thing with these if you guys look, they kind of line up with a penny just to make it easy for myself. You know, when I lay it out, spacing, so they're pretty even. They're not always, you know, I try to get as close as I can, but that's what I use.
And like, show that bottom corner scale. So see how it's not perfect?
It's not perfect.
So you know a machine didn't do this, because you could have easily plugged this in a program and done it that way.
And I can try to make that, and I don't really. With these ones, I really didn't. I wanted
we want. We don't want that. Right? I
wanted it to be a little whimsical.
Yeah,
so she said that, you know, and I said I wanted it. So before the quilt was quilted, you know, it had a much different look. It was beautiful and I loved the colors of it, but I think the quilting kind of softens it up a little bit. It can be boy, girl, you know, whatever.
Oh, this is awesome. So what is this quilt? Does anybody want to know?
I never know the names of it.
I've been working on this quilt for about 2 years.
Yes.
630 pennies, by the way.
630? Oh, a piece of cake.
630 pennies. I went around,
times
you guys.
2, right? Times 2, because there's 2 pennies in each one. There's an outer.
You had said
5 pennies.
So 5 pennies per
yeah,
block, 2 per lot.
actually, yeah. But I only went around 600 and something.
Yeah,
that's
Linda only did 600, right? All right. They want to know how long have you been quilting?
Okay, so I started in January of 2011, long arming. That's when it got delivered.
13 years.
What's your preference on long arm machine?
So I have an A1 that has no bells and whistles. It doesn't even really have, it has a stitch regulator, but I would say that it doesn't have a stitch regulator. I've just learned to quilt on it, so I can regulate my stitches myself by how fast I go. And then I also have an Innova that I do edge to edge that's computerized for my customers, edge to edge customers. So those are my 2 machines. I started with the A1. It's like my right arm. I always thought I would upgrade to another machine, but
it's hard to give up what you know. Right?
It's hard to, I know it. it's like the featherweight of long arms. I mean, it's old school.
All right.
So yeah.
All right. So this quilt is the November project in the wool box. I've been working on this quilt on and off.
She was
for
working
about
on these pennies
2
last
years.
year.
Yeah,
when
2
I was
years.
here.
So I would just prep them and take them along with me when I just needed to grab and go. You know, I could throw those in and take them along with me without dragging along one of my big projects. So it's in the wool box, you're going to be able to do the whole center. You have enough to do that whole center. We have enough pennies to do way more than that. We're giving you a lot of wool in there. But what I'm saying is if you want to continue to make this bigger, you know, I'm sure there's going to be another fabric line coming out where you're just going to just keep adding squares like I did. Like this is 3 different fabric lines for me. So I just kept, you know, taking my charm square. Oh, and just to give you a little heads up, I used the whole charm square. I didn't trim it, nothing.
Oh, that's
so cool. I didn't starch them because I didn't want to distort it in any way. So I just ironed the pennies onto the charm square, sewed the charm squares together. When I was done, pressed them really nice and flat. I did not trim anything. So whatever they came from the factory, which is a uniform size, that's what I stitched with. So, all right.
Yeah, you were working on it last year.
Yeah. So this is the extra project that is in the November quilt or the November wool box. And I think it's pretty fun. It's called Double Nickels. That's what we named it.
Flannel on the back.
Flannel on the back.
Flannel on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Just one layer of batting in this. It's flannel, but I used which I have a roll of, and I'm just trying to use it up. But I like it. It's a quilter's dream, but it's their supreme. It's their thickest. Yeah, it's probably a little pricey too now. The cotton, I haven't priced it out for a while, but I just put that in there because Lisa doesn't care. I wanted a little bit of loft, more than just a layer of Hobbs 80/20. So that worked out perfectly for that.
And if you didn't see it, speaking of the wool box, we're trying to throw around a bunch of different things here of what to do for next year, but just put out a little poll whether maybe we wanted to go to quarterly instead of every other. And just because you might like one over the other doesn't mean we're going to do anything. I just want to know what's it looking like out there, right?
So Lisa and I have known each other for 14 years, I think.
Yeah.
Now. We've been started, and I think so. 13,
and
14 years.
Linda and I have Linda has won some awards with some of our
We
quilts.
won some together,
like
but yeah. Scott said when we were driving here, we live in Michigan. Sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. We live in Michigan, so it's about now to where Lisa lives from before the shop. It's like 5.5 hours, I would say. It's a little bit closer. No, it was an easy drive because I didn't drive. I was a little princess in the passenger side with my quilt on my lap, and Scott did the driving. So anyways, it's all good except for around Chicago. But he said to me, he's like, when did you do Portland Rose? And I was like, 2013. It was a quilt we did together that won some awards. And because Scott remembers that's the first time he drove here. And I said that was 2013 because they were doing road construction, because isn't that such a guy thing? That's what he equated it to. He's like, they've been working on this road since Portland Rose. we were bringing
the first quilt. That's funny.
So because we were bringing Portland Rose
back. It's a season here and they're just trying to wrap it up before the snow flies.
He's like, they've been working on this since Portland Rose. He's like, what year was that? So it was just funny to think about that.
Double nickels, I was just reading double nickels is, you have boxcars, which is our 6s, and you have 5s, which are double nickels. It's just a term when you shake dice, what we call it when you get double nickels or boxcars,
I just thought
right?
That's how cute name. So I never know the names. So someone might email me or they've seen a quilt and they say the name, and I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. I've never did that quilt before in my life. And then they might send me a picture, and I was like, I don't know what they're called when I get them. They're nameless.
She does. Yeah, they don't have a name yet. Or I'll be like, hurry up and do this one. This is what we. But no. So I'm so glad you snuck that one in, because next she gets Fresh Cut Garden.
Yes, that Lisa said. And if you guys know that quilt, with her. Yeah, if you know this quilt, Lisa said, I left you a lot of room to quilt.
That's what I just told her.
And I was like, Yeah, that inch.
Yeah, on the outside edge.
That inch on that outside edge. It was funny to me, and I was like, "Yeah, you did." Oh, it's funny. We've
All
been
right, you
together.
got a couple
longer
more
than that.
questions.
Okay.
We'll respect them and answer those while I take a drink.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me what the question. Where are they?
Are
Okay.
your rulers slip resistant at all?
They aren't. But you could put a little. They sell those for rulers.
Yeah, a little
what
double-sided
I
tape
use,
or whatever.
is I use bandage tape. I actually like that they can move around a little bit, but that's me because I'm working, especially Lisa's quilts, like flannel and stuff. They're gonna not
Well,
move
and
around.
when you're custom working, you're working pretty tight, right?
Yeah, and
You're
I don't
holding
really
it-
notice
you're
the
not
slip. So
like-
I hold my rulers. If you guys look at my videos and stuff, and Scott actually took these videos, will be even better than the ones I took from the last quilt that we did. The what was the little blue quilt? The
Wild Rose or Little Roses.
Little Roses.
Yeah.
So I did all those, but Scott actually, so it's the camera, my phone isn't moving around, but you'll notice that I anchor. I'm always using like my hand to anchor and my thumb, like when I move this around. So I like to move it, but I use NextCare bandage tape, which is a clear bandage tape on some of my piecing rulers that have lost their, like the creative grids have lost their little sandy. And I just put a couple pieces of that, and you can get that like at Walmart for like $5 or whatever it is now. And so you can put those on there. I don't recommend spraying anything. You can get some spray stuff, but it actually mars the acrylics. And you don't want that sticky stuff, chemicals on your quilt probably either.
All right, one more here.
Uh-huh.
After you mark your quilt, you quilt left to right or center out?
So I typically mark as I go. So I might base, I'm just going to base the top of it, not the rest of it's going to be loaded, or floated. Now, I don't float very often, but the rest of it will be, pinned to my leaders and loaded. So I typically will quilt left to right for the most part. Like I might do some ditch work. If I am at the beginning, like the border here, I don't remember. I think
You don't do that border first, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did. I have to look at my pictures. I might have done the pennies first, but I probably put just one design up on the border just to see how it comes out. And I might put it in the middle and then kind of do it out as I go. But then after that, for the most part, I go left to right just to keep it square. So let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to read questions. So please.
Was there another one?
The dryer sheet tip again.
Do you have a dryer sheet tip?
Do I have a dryer sheet tip? Are you talking about maybe the lint roller? Maybe because I use a lint roller to catch my maybe a dryer sheet. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what that. If you put expand on that, because I don't remember. The lint roller thing that I do, and I was talking about it in my classes. I use lint roller.
Collecting the threads.
Yeah, I just tear a sheet off and I leave it on top of my quilt, and then I just put the threads that I cut and they stick to it, and then I grab any extras with that sheet. So that might be.
That's what she means, yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so that's what I use. And then when it fills up with, I have a bunch of threads on it, I just throw it away and I rip me a new one. And that way I can quilt while I'm working and cut and I don't even look because I know that the sheet's there and I just kind of just tap it. So I'm not like lifting my hand up or like throwing something. It just saves me time and I don't even have to pay attention that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So that just
some
makes
of those things that we do so automatically, we forget we even do it. Like, yeah, like what's your dryer sheet tip? You're like,
I was like, I was trying to think. I was like, what do I use my dryer sheets for? I just saw a cool dryer sheet tip, and I don't remember.
That's probably the lint roller, though.
I think that was the lint roller.
All right. So should we talk about some other things?
Oh, I just want to talk about this. Isn't my ruler. This is actually Natalia Bonner's ruler, and I used it on this quilt. I just want to show in this upper corner, Keely. So sorry. There's a little feather design up here, and it fit perfect. Like, look, oh my gosh. I will use this ruler
again. So you put that ruler there in your quilting feathers.
Yes.
Not a spine.
So no, this is just for the spine.
Yeah.
This is just for the spine, this curve here. It's called the Sway 3, and she has different sizes. And this is Natalia Bonner, and her website is Peace and
Quilt.
Peace N quilt, not and. It's an
N quilt. Peace
N.
N quilt.
And in full disclosure, Scott makes these for her. So I have them. So I love to try other rulers and everything.
Yeah.
And actually, I was telling Lisa about it because she was asking. She's like, "Oh, it looks like a little sleigh, kind of." And I was like, "It's called the Sway 3, and it was the perfect size." But if you want something for like curling feathers like that, it's such a good ruler, and you can get it on hers. And they're
all right.
really
So
nice,
this
good
little
design.
next announcement has been talked about forever. Ever. I'm going to let you look at it for a minute here. Yeah, this one. All right. What do we have here? All right. This is the chef here at Primitive Gatherings. This is her cookbook. So Erica's cookbook has 165 pages in it, 120 recipes. It's going to be $35, and we're going to ship them in the beginning of December. So is this already up on our website and ready to go? All right. So they're up there and ready to go, and it's everything. So she has, appetizers and drinks and all kinds of things. She says, make sure you tell everybody that everything is not just, the meals that she does here, but she does all those other things here too.
They're delicious. Scott was eating a cookie.
She's always getting questioned about why she needs bourbon on her grocery list. And tequila.
Yeah, we had tomato soup and
to put up with us. That's what she
grilled
needs
cheese for lunch today. Yeah, it's so good, so delicious.
Oh, the tomato soup and that fancy grilled cheese.
It was a fancy grilled cheese.
What was that cheese?
I don't know. There was something on there. I didn't know what it was, but it was delicious. And I could tell it was 1,000,000 calories.
Yeah, it was awesome. So Erica's book is at the printer right now, and we will be shipping those. We want to take a little pre-order for them now, and then we will get going on making them. All right, now everybody remember this guy? Mm-hmm. All right, this is our thread book. And it was, it did its job back in the day. All right, hold this up for me. Hold that one. When I asked for that one.
Yeah.
So now we have a new book. Oh.
So
all
fancy.
Right, look at this one. So we have revamped it, and go sideways.
It's much bigger.
Oh yeah, it's like,
my gosh,
it's size-wise, but
yeah,
look at the thickness. It's probably 3 times as thick.
Yeah, lots more goods.
And open up where I showed you to open up.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
look at this. I know you're gonna lose your mind, right? We have colors. We have all the weights.
So fancy.
Beautiful.
Nice.
All right. So I've added a lot more information to the book. Kaylee did a fabulous job laying it out and taking photos for it. The photography is beautiful. We talk about different things that we can use the threads for. We talk about Valdani, talk about punch needle as well. So there are some photos of that in there and how I do that. So it's a very dual purpose as far as wool applique, punch needle. What else did we do in here, Kaylee? You remember? Talks about how you can tell what threads kind of belong together in groups. She has a lot more pages to mark your projects down and to keep track of those. Of course, the wool basics of everything that we need, and we have updated that with the new fusible webs that are out now. Some stitches, very, very basic stitches, not like in the wool needle and thread stitch book. This is just, basic. Here's your projects. So it's really well done. Some links in the back for our social groups.
Cool.
All right.
So you can go to YouTube, Stitch with Lisa. We talked about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can do it. You can get all kinds of videos there as well. And we were talking about, okay, we need to put that our YouTube is not Primitive Gatherings, it's Stitch with Lisa. So we needed to add that to that. So guess what?
Yeah,
with the old and in with the brand new book.
I have the old one.
Yeah, and so this one is $20.99.
No, that was just a holding spot.
Oh, okay. What is this one? 15. There.
Wow.
I got a deal.
It's a better deal. Things never go down in price, guys. They
yeah, right. This one said 20. I'm like, what's 20? I'm like, why did they come up with that price? I was thinking.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. So
That's
I'm just looking at the last proof, the last mock-up here, but it is gorgeous. The color is amazing. Donnie's gonna want these.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they are. They're gonna.
All right, so
they're
2
gonna
new
have them.
books there. Erica's, Chef Erica's, and that one.
And that book won't be released until Primitive Christmas.
Yes, so you can't get it now. Primitive Christmas, we're saving it. You know, you got to have some really fun, cool things for Primitive Christmas. Here's some fun, cool things for Primitive Christmas. Jess made this pillow for her family. Now, this looks like it took a lot of work, but I bet you did this in one evening, didn't you? See?
Oh.
Right?
So
Isn't how
darling.
pretty that is? And we have kits and everything. Again, Primitive Christmas, right? So we're just giving you a couple sneak peeks. And you know, every year we do a freebie. This is your freebie.
Oh wow, that's the freebie.
Right? I wanted to give you something other than another pin cushion. No, I didn't say that. So we gave you a little framed piece here. You can make this into a little quilt. You can frame it. You can do whatever you want. You can put it on a t-shirt or through a sweatshirt. You could stitch it on too. Right?
Or you could get framed.
Or yes, or you could get this beautiful frame for it from Scotty. He had made this with the gray and the red undertone to it. So we will have all of these things as options on our website.
So pretty.
But this is, again, free. The kit will be free to you when you place a $40 order during Primitive Christmas. That's how you get that, free. And then you're going to get a quilt project, which we will be reviewing on Wednesday and Thursday, probably before Primitive Christmas, which is that Thursday, exactly a week before Thanksgiving. And there's a pillow pattern too, right? So it's this, a pillow, a quilt. What's the other one?
There's the one if they spend more money, they get another one.
Oh yes.
Oh.
But I thought there was another thing. There probably is. We just don't.
Oh, it's the Snowman Family.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And a little wall hanging. So those are all of our free things. So we have 4 free things for you for joining us on this event. And then we have a teaser or a marketing scheme plan. For
Lots
you.
of secrets.
So we took a really, really cool set of projects, put them in one pattern and said, if you spend this much money, you get this pattern free as well. So, and it's super cool. You're all going to want it. Right?
Yes.
All right. So everybody understand Primitive Christmas? Anybody have any questions about Primitive Christmas? All right. Nope. All right. Just ask in the feed. I'm going to talk about one more thing here before I sign off.
Yeah, shut up and take my money. That's what I always say too. I guess.
All right. So, again, here's a little peek here.
Oh my gosh, you guys. This
Here's
is
a little
so
peek.
beautiful.
All right. So this is Countdown to Christmas. So you're going to have some applique blocks and stitchery blocks. You're going to have some piecing. Very minimal piecing, though. There's not a lot. I promise I won't triangle you to death. All right. This is not one of them. We're going to have tons of options on this quilt. Did you want me to go over them, Jess?
Yeah, they're all up on the website.
All right, so this is already up on the website for you to order. This is going to be happening December 1st through Christmas. It's going to be our little Advent countdown to Christmas quilt along. All right, quilt stitch along, both. You're going to be quilting and you're going to be stitching. So maybe you don't do wool applique, right? We will have 4 clues for you to do the piecing, and maybe you put a beautiful quilting design in where we have our applique block. So we're not trying to ignore you guys. We have an option for you this year. So here are some of the options for Countdown to Christmas. We have a kit for the cotton only. And that is, so if you want to do scrappy like I showed you, where you have different fabrics, or you have just 3 fabrics and they are Bella Solids. So the Bella Solid would be $55 and the scrappy version would be $110. And obviously the Bellas are much more reasonable than the prints, and there's more prints and you'll have a little excess fabric. You know how that goes. All right, and then we need 8 yards of background, and we used porcelain, and that is going to be a yes or no. So you're just going to go click down the road. So that is $72 for the 8 yards. And then we also have an option for a product called appliques only. So maybe you want the piecing part and you want the appliques. So a wool kit is $60, or you can do the wool kit plus the 8 yards of background. Maybe you don't want to do the piecing. Maybe you have your own fabric for that. All right. And then we have a product called Cotton and Applique's Full Kit. You want everything. You want your fabric choice, scrappy or solid. You're going to get the wool kit and everything that all goes with that. Then you get the free pattern downloads if you buy the kits. If you purchase from us, it is free. If you do not purchase from us and you're going to use your fabrics, then you're going to have to pay a little bit for the pattern. All right. And those will be daily on our blog, website.
And they're going to get them for free. So when they sign up, they are going to go into kind of like a little grouping, and daily in their mailbox, they will get the downloads for what applique they need to do for that day.
Okay. So I hope you heard that, because I don't see a mic on her. But so if you sign up for these things, you are going to get that. We have hooked your email from your purchase to a daily download. So you're going to automatically get the download in your email if you purchase from us. If you don't purchase from us and you're just going to go in and pick the downloads you want, then you can just purchase them the days that you want them. And they're going to be, I don't know, $1 or $2, something like that. I don't think we've nailed that down, or have we? $2. Okay. How does that sound? Does it sound like fun? Do you want to stitch along with us? We have lots of options for everybody.
Is this beginner friendly?
It's very beginner friendly. Yep. Very, very easy piecing. The clues are, you're going to get a cutting clue. You're going to get a piecing clue, and then a put it together clue. That's it. So it's very simple to put together and very easy. Nothing small, nothing tiny, just nice. Okay. So I hope you want to join us for that. We are going to sell out. I'm going to tell you that right now. So if don't wait for our kits. We only have so much available. We will offer it as a full pattern once it is done. By all means, if that was one of your questions, like maybe you can't handle any stress of downloading something daily or printing something daily, we will offer this as a purchase pattern after the fact if that suits your thing. And then I just want to show you a couple other things that the girls have been working downstairs so hard on getting ready for this, and then we'll pick Linda's two winners. So we have a bunch of new bundles that they have put together for you. This one reminds me of vintage Christmas, like that retro vintage Christmas.
It's called Retro.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I love the aqua in this one. Can you see that?
Thank you.
So these are all going to be items that we are featuring for Primitive Christmas, right, Jess?
Yes.
So this is some bundles that she has. She has, guess what's in here? We don't even need to, we need to take one of these home with us. Okay. We'll take a little one though.
Is it
white one is salted.
So we have salted and salted. Vanilla.
It's perfect for me.
All right.
This weighs like a lot too.
Ooh, look at
a lot of salty goodness in here. Chocolatey, salty.
Look at how cute these are. So it looks like you're going to get
oh, those are so cute.
Some quick bread, but you're going to get fat quarters, it looks like. Aren't they cute?
Little coffee cake.
So my little elves downstairs are making all these cool little presents for you to give to your friends or for you to buy for yourself. Hey, no judging. I buy for myself all the time. Right? Then you get what you want.
Treat yourself. Yes. It's my motto.
It's called part of being self-care, or nurturing your own self.
Well, yeah, I did. I did something. I bought for my 50th. I just turned 50 last month, guys. And
She's just a baby.
Bought a package where I do like a facial every month, like a little pampering. I don't know how pampering it was. I got a chemical peel on the first one. Did
it hurt?
No, it didn't. It was a little spicy it wasn't that long. It was like 5 minutes. She did like this one where you're not supposed to peel. You put a special cream on afterwards, but wow, it was pretty cool.
Did you feel like it sloughed off all of your?
Yeah, I felt like my skin was like glass, afterwards.
Like at the end of the year, to start a new year.
I've done the microneedling one, and they put numbing cream on before you do that one, and it was awesome afterwards. There was a little more downtime with that. I've just done it once, but when they get around your eyes and your lips, I was like, I was like, this was it. But it was just a little self-care. It was like something that I normally would never do.
I'm so I have so many credits at my massage place.
Yeah, so
I think one of these, I'm like, can I get
I do
some
very
of these?
little maintenance things. I do
so
no
bad at
nails,
gold.
obviously, or anything. So I just thought that would be something that would be kind of fun. And
all right. Yes. Okay. A couple things here.
So the countdown to Christmas is on our website. That is what the quilt along / stitch along is named.
Right.
We do ask that you pre-order because, like we said, we do have primitive Christmas coming up as well. So we want to make sure that these get out as soon as possible to them, so that they do have them available to them. And then just a thing about our charity for Primitive Christmas. We are doing tools for teachers and helping to support the local Winneconne Elementary School. So we will have a list up on our website of things that they can bring in if they want.
Oh, that's perfect.
Or they can do the $10 donation like we've always done. And if they do a $10 donation or bring in a gift, they're going to get $10 automatically off their purchase. So we're literally just matching what they do in a discount for them.
So perfect. So that was one of my big things when we came out here to rural Wisconsin, is that we can make a little bit of an impact right here very locally. So that's why we have chose this time to go with one of our schools and help out a much needed resource for the teachers. So I hope that you bless them as well as us with your donation for that. And like I said, we're going to give you a $10 coupon so you can spend it on, and some of the things we showed you today here, this just a small sprinkling of what we got coming up. Like literally my staff has outdone themselves. I'm like, can we just stop making projects? Because people are going to have a hard time figuring out what to spend their money on. Okay. So because, and I don't want to make it too difficult or too many choices, because guess what? Christmas comes again next year.
Yes, it does. Just like market. Can we talk about that? Lisa and I were reminiscing earlier because somebody was talking.
Let's ask Heidi. Ask her question first.
Oops, sorry.
Well,
Heidi.
it's not that. It's that people are saying, "Oh, we can't find the countdown to Christmas." Jess went to go talk to Amy, so they're
all right. So we'll just hang on a little bit here. Yeah, they'll find it. They're working on it,
but it will be shortly.
Okay.
So
yeah. Okay. So we'll tell you a quick little story.
Okay.
So yeah, look for it. They're just maybe Amy didn't press go yet. Maybe she didn't.
Yeah, she didn't know that yet.
Yeah. Anyway. Because we were just finalizing the last couple things down there. But Lynn and I were talking about market.
Yes.
Because I just got
the
back.
old days, because somebody wasn't aware of how it used to work with Quilt Market.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how the drop used to happen. Lisa would get the fabrics like a couple weeks before.
I mean, if we got them a month before, that was
it was
like
never
amazing. But sometimes,
yeah, if it was a month, I was like, oh my gosh, I have all this time.
10 days I've seen,
Yeah, so they would be mad quilting and sending me, overnighting me quilts to quilt, and I'm mad trying to quilt them and get them to her, overnighting to like Houston or wherever Spring Market was, like finding out, quilting literally all night. I was saying how back then when the girls were in school and living at home in middle school, high school, that we would be at a dance competition or something, and then we'd come home and I'd be like, okay girls, I gotta work late. And so they would make movie night in my studio, and we'd still get to spend time together, but I would just be working and quilting, and they could do little things for me. Like,
but luckily our manufacturer, which is Moda, has gotten so
it's a lot
better.
different.
Yeah, so we
There's
get
more
it
lines
months
now, so we talked about that.
months and months ahead of time now.
Yeah.
So we are so thankful for that, because we were talking like nobody would do this anymore if they had to.
I was like, I couldn't do it. If she wanted, I was like, my eye,
like a badge of honor. Like I was a quilt market hero long before fabric.
Oh my gosh, like we survived the good old days. Like we're coming in, Lisa would send me something and like maybe the backing was like too small, I remember, and we had to like add. I was like, I find something that's like close to it that I can
put
add.
Whatever on it. Yeah. Anyways,
the good old days. Yeah.
Glad they're over. Some of them.
So we aren't
okay.
Not that deadlines anymore.
All right.
Countdown to Christmas has been enabled.
All right, it's up now.
Okay, it's up.
It's up now.
Okay, winners for ornaments.
All right.
Marlene Swiss
and Kathy Jo Rockroar.
So
those are the
they
winners,
send
and
their-
Heidi will send
yep.
them out to her. You have
Yep.
to send us your addresses, please. And thank you for joining us today, where we appreciate
Yes,
you.
Thank you.
Hopefully you got a little bit of Linda. Yes.
I
Lucky
threw
us.
a link to Countdown to Christmas in the comments.
All right. So
Okay.
look in the comments section. There's a link there. Click on
Mhm.
that link if you're on your computer,
Mhm.
and it'll take you right there to sign up for our fun quilt along. All right. They're giving me
Awesome.
the like,
Yeah,
hey, let's get
they're-
out of here. We're from Primitive Gatherings, where every stitch tells a story. I snuck it
Thank
in.
you.
Bye.